Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech, where we like to blend casual conversations with some, insightful discussions on the latest in technology and gadgets.
Casual is the key word.
Yeah, it's all about keeping it, you know, light and fun.
Exactly.
But that doesn't mean we don't get into the nitty-gritty.
Oh no, we're diving deep today.
Deep dive is right. We've got some juicy rumors swirling around about a potential new handheld gaming device.
Oh, and the AI integration in gaming is getting really interesting.
And, just to throw a curveball, we'll be finishing up with something completely different.
And no, it's not another phone.
I promise.
All right, well, let's jump right in. What's got you so excited about this handheld rumor?
Okay, so picture this. Microsoft teams up with a PC maker to create a handheld gaming device.
Codenamed Keenan, I heard.
Keenan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the rumor at least. But here's where it gets really interesting. They're talking about simplifying Windows 11 for this handheld experience.
Now, that's a challenge. Windows 11 on a tiny screen.
Right, like how is that going to work?
Well, the rumors suggest they might develop a custom launcher or interface something that makes Windows 11 a bit more intuitive for, handheld gaming.
So kind of like what Valve did with the Steam Deck and Steam OS.
Precisely. The Steam Deck has proven that a streamlined operating system can be a real game changer for handheld gaming.
Makes sense. And hey, this isn't Microsoft's first attempt at handheld devices, right?
Oh, yeah. We all remember the Zune and the Windows Phone.
Yeah, those didn't exactly set the world on fire. But hey, you learn from your experiences, right?
Absolutely. And Microsoft could be using those past experiences, both the good and the bad, to inform the design of Keenan.
And let's not forget, Microsoft executive Jason Ronald hinted at this kind of project at CES earlier this year.
Oh, yeah. He talked about bringing the best of Xbox and Windows together.
Exactly. So could Keenan be that perfect blend?
It's definitely a possibility. Imagine playing your favorite Xbox games on a dedicated handheld with access to the wider world of PC gaming through Windows 11.
Okay, now I'm officially intrigued. But before we get too carried away, let's switch gears to some news that's a little less, shall we say, tidy.
What's going on?
Remember those cute little robot vacuums, the Roombas?
Oh, yeah, those little guys. What about them?
Well, it seems like the future of iRobot. The company behind the Roomba is facing some financial hurdles.
Really? That's a shame. I thought those things were pretty popular.
They are, but the problem stems from a failed acquisition by Amazon.
Ah, I see. So the deal fell through, and now they're struggling.
Exactly, and the timing is kind of ironic because they just announced a bunch of cool new models.
Oh, wow, including that one that can empty itself?
Yeah, that's the one. But now everyone's wondering what this means for Roomba owners.
Right. Will they still get support and updates?
Exactly. And what about the competition? Will other companies step in if iRobot, fades away?
It's a valid question. They've been a dominant force in the robot vacuum market for a long time.
It really makes you think even in the tech world, things can change so quickly.
Absolutely no one is immune to market forces and economic realities.
Okay, well, let's move on to something a little more futuristic and a lot cooler.
All right, I'm ready. Hit me with it.
Aloy, the awesome protagonist from the Horizon games.
Oh, yeah, she's awesome.
Well, get this, leaked footage shows an AI-powered version of her that can hold a conversation, narrate gameplay, and even react with facial expressions.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
It's mind-blowing, and it really highlights the potential of AI in gaming.
We've seen Microsoft and NVIDIA playing around with AI characters, but this seems like Sony's taken it to a whole new level.
Imagine having an in-game character who can not only guide you, but also add depth to the story and maybe even crack a few jokes.
The possibilities are pretty exciting.
But are there any downsides to this? I mean, could the AI take over and make the game feel less like a game?
That's a good question, and it's something developers need to consider carefully. The goal is to enhance the player experience, not diminish it.
Right, we want the AI to be a helpful companion, not a controlling overlord.
Exactly. We still want to feel like we're in the driver's seat making choices that shape the narrative and the world around us.
Okay, so we've got a potential wars, Microsoft, handhelds and Roomba drama, and the exciting world of AI characters in gaming. Now, before we wrap up this segment, I have to share that surprise, I promise.
Oh, yeah, sweet surprise.
Are you ready for this? It's the Ninja Creamy, a home soft-serve ice cream machine.
Wait, you mean we can make our own soft serve at home?
You got no more waiting in line at the ice cream shop. You can whip up all your favorite flavors.
That's amazing. Think of the possibilities. Mango sorbet with a touch of chili powder, maybe some lavender honey ice cream.
Okay, now you're making me hungry.
It's a good reminder that even with all the craziness in the tech world, there's always room for a little sweetness.
Well said. All right, we're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll be diving even deeper into these topics and exploring what they mean for you, the tech-savvy listener. What excites you about the potential of a Microsoft handheld? Does AI in gaming intrigue you or make you nervous? And most importantly, what flavor ice cream would you make first in the Ninja Creamy? We'll be right back. All right, we're back, and thinking more about this Keenan handheld, the more I wonder, what are the biggest hurdles Microsoft would face in actually making this thing a reality?
I think one of the biggest challenges would be, adapting Windows 11 to a handheld device without like sacrificing functionality or that user
Mm.
experience. I mean, Windows 11 is designed for desktops and laptops with the mouse and keyboard in mind.
Yeah, trying to picture navigating Windows 11 on a tiny screen using just my thumbs, I don't know, it sounds a little bit like a recipe for frustration.
Right, exactly. So they would need to find some really creative ways to make the interface touch-friendly, maybe with larger icons, simplified menus, and some intuitive gestures. They could even, take some inspiration from mobile operating systems like Android or iOS.
Oh, that's a good point. Borrowing some ideas from the mobile world would make a lot of sense.
And then there's the whole performance aspect. They need to ensure that Windows 11 can run smoothly on, less powerful hardware without sacrificing battery life.
Yeah, performance and battery life are key, especially for a device that's meant to be portable.
Exactly. Nobody wants to be tethered to an outlet all the time. And then there's the question of the games themselves. Would they be able to run the latest AAA titles smoothly on a handheld device?
Well, that's where Microsoft's expertise in cloud gaming could come in, right? I mean, we've seen them making some big strides with Xbox Cloud Gaming, allowing players to stream games to their phones and tablets.
Oh, absolutely. Cloud gaming could be a huge selling point for Keenan. Imagine being able to stream your entire Xbox game library to this handheld device anywhere with a decent internet connection.
Okay, now I'm getting really excited about this. I can see myself on a long flight streaming the latest Halo game on this sleek little handheld. But let's shift gears back to some less rosy news for a bit. I'm still thinking about iRobot and what their financial troubles might mean for the future of robot vacuums.
It's definitely a situation worth watching, and I think it raises some interesting questions for you as a consumer. Like, for instance, would you be hesitant to buy a new Roomba now knowing that the company is facing this financial uncertainty?
That's a good question. It would definitely make me pause and consider other options, especially if there's a chance that software updates and customer support might be affected down the line.
And what about the lifespan of the device? If iRobot were to go under, it could become a lot harder to find replacement parts or get repairs done.
These are all valid concerns. It makes you wonder what happens to all those smart devices in our homes if the companies that make them suddenly disappear.
That's a big question for the future of the Internet of Things. We're becoming so reliant on these connected devices, but what happens when the companies behind them are no longer around to support them?
It's been unsettling to think about. We assume these devices will be with us for years to come, but maybe we need to start thinking about their long-term viability a little more carefully.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the devices themselves, it's about the data they collect and how that data is managed. If a company goes under, what happens to all that information?
That's a whole other can of worms and one we probably don't have time to unpack today, but it's definitely something to think about.
Agreed. Okay, ready for one last dose of AI-powered awesomeness. Let's get back to that leaked footage of the AI Aloy. What were your initial thoughts? What excites you and what makes you a little wary?
Honestly, what excites me the most is the potential for creating truly immersive and interactive game worlds. I mean, imagine a game world where the characters feel truly alive, where they have their own, personalities, motivations, and backstories.
That's the dream, right? To have a game world that feels as dynamic and responsive as the real world.
Exactly. But I also wonder about the implications for storytelling. Could AI-powered characters create narratives that are, more engaging, more unpredictable, and ultimately more satisfying for players?
That's a fascinating question, and I think it's something that game developers are still grappling with. How do you balance the power of AI with the need for compelling storytelling and meaningful player choice?
Right, we don't want to end up with games that feel like they're writing themselves. We still want to feel like we're the authors of our own adventures.
Exactly, and that's the challenge, finding that sweet spot where AI enhances the creative process without overshadowing the human element that makes gaming so special.
I'm curious, what are some of the ethical considerations that come to mind when you think about AI-powered characters in games?
Well, one thing to consider is the potential for bias. AI is trained on data, and if that data is biased, the AI can perpetuate those biases within the game world, and that could lead to, unfair or even harmful representations of certain groups of people.
That's a really important point. We need to make sure that AI in gaming is inclusive and representative of the diversity of the real world.
Absolutely. And we also need to be mindful of how AI-powered characters might influence player behavior. If a game features a particularly persuasive or charismatic AI character, could that character be used to manipulate players in ways that are unethical or harmful?
That's a scary thought. It's like we need to be careful not to create virtual puppet masters who can pull our strings without us even realizing it.
It's a delicate balance and one that we need to approach thoughtfully. AI has the potential to revolutionize the gaming industry, but it's crucial that we do so responsibly and ethically.
Welcome back to Bite-Sized Tech. So much to unpack still and so little time.
Huh.
As we've been talking about all this, the image that keeps popping into my head is me, sitting on a plane streaming Halo on a Microsoft handheld. It's like the future of gaming right there.
Oh, it definitely makes you think, how would a device like that stack up against the big players like the Nintendo Switch or the Steam Deck? Would it be a serious contender or just another, flash in the pan like the Windows Phone?
Right. It makes you wonder if Microsoft has really learned from, its past missteps in the handheld market. Like, what do you think held back devices like the Zune and the Windows Phone?
Well, I think a big issue was app availability. Developers just weren't as keen on creating apps for those platforms compared to, the giant like iOS and Android.
Yeah, and there was that whole ecosystem thing. Microsoft's mobile ecosystem just wasn't as robust or user-friendly as its competitors.
Exactly. So for Keenan to really take off, Microsoft needs to make sure it has a strong app ecosystem right from the start. They need to entice developers and convince them that this platform is worth investing in.
Makes sense. It's not just about the hardware. It's about building a whole world around the device.
Absolutely. And speaking of worlds, circling back to the iRobot situation for a second, it's a stark reminder that even the most established tech companies can face unexpected turbulence.
It is unsettling, especially for those of us who've, become so accustomed to these smart devices seamlessly integrating into our lives.
Exactly. It makes you wonder, what would you do if your Roomba just stopped working one day and there was no company to turn to for support?
I'd probably freak out a little bit.
Yeah.
I've become so reliant on my Roomba to keep my floors clean.
Mm-hmm.
Practically part of the family now.
I think a lot of people feel that way about their smart devices. Like we develop this kind of symbiotic relationship. They make our lives easier and we come to depend on them.
Yeah, but it also highlights a certain vulnerability. What happens if those devices become obsolete or the company that made them vanishes? Do we just end up with a pile of expensive paperweights?
It's a legitimate concern and something that consumers need to be mindful of when making those purchasing decisions.
Right. We need to be thinking long-term about our reliance on these smart devices.
Agreed. Okay, so for our final thought, let's zoom back to AI in gaming and really think about what this means for you as a gamer, what excites you about the potential of AI-powered characters, and what gives you pause.
For me, the most exciting aspect is the potential for deeper immersion in storytelling. Just imagine a game world where the characters truly feel alive with their own personalities, motivations, even backstories.
It's definitely an intriguing idea. We've already seen some impressive AI-powered characters in games like Red Dead Redemption 2 and Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, those games really push the boundaries of realism and emotional depth.
Yeah.
I also wonder, is there a risk that AI could make games feel too predictable or formulaic?
It's a valid concern. We don't want games to become so AI-driven that they lose that element of surprise and unpredictability.
Exactly. We still want to feel like we're in control, making choices that actually matter, and shaping the story in a meaningful way.
I think the key is finding that balance. AI can be a powerful tool for crafting more immersive and engaging experiences, but it shouldn't come at the cost of player agency and creative freedom.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And on that note, we've reached the end of our bite-sized journey. For today, we've explored a potential Microsoft handheld map, grappled with the uncertainty surrounding iRobot, and delved into the fascinating world of AI in gaming. We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the ever-evolving landscape of tech and that you'll join us next time for more insightful discussions.
Thanks for tuning in to Byte-Sized Tech. If you enjoyed our deep dive today, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fun tech discussions.